And I said, hey, yay, 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 hey, yay, yay. I said, hey, what's going on? Alright. It's me again, the archivist. I guess this must be my bum phase, I'm not entirely sure. It's just my non-tech phase. Again, there's no quick cuts or edits or nothing like that, which I really wanted to get into, but etc. Anyway, today we'll be talking about a webcomic named. I'm just kidding. That's for later. This is a webcomic I printed. Yes, kids, back in the day, they're called prints. I used to print stuff. What's in here is something I can't show because it's an adult-oriented webcomic called Welcome to Chastity. But maybe someday we'll get to review it. I have some edited pics on my computer, which is now broken, so nuts to that. Anyway, so today we'll be talking about, I get up my list, gun control, i.e., those morality tales of why children shouldn't have guns. And I've seen a few of them, and we'll talk about them about the 80s and 90s. Now, I've grown up in the 80s and 90s, and shocker and shock street, I've never once had like this vague impression that TV is telling me to go out and shoot someone, or Mortal Kombat or video games telling me to be violent. It's like, no, I've never thought or had the emotional response of this is telling me to do something. Like when people say this insane person said their toaster was telling them to mass murder people. This thing is not telling me what to do. But anyway, so to combat the gun problem in certain episodes of certain shows, like MacGyver, Law and Order, and I think that was it. What I'm going to reference. There have been shows. I'm going to talk about specific scenes. I don't know if they're from those shows specifically because it's been so long. But basically, what happens in these shows is that why kids should not be allowed to have a gun. Much like in A Christmas Story, the reason everyone keeps telling Ralphie that he shouldn't have a BB gun is because he's going to shoot his eye out. And what happens is he breaks his glasses because, the BB gun ricocheted off and hit his glasses. Or at least knocked them off, and then he stepped on them. But the fact of the matter is that people make it look so easy to handle a gun on TV. They're smooth, their hands are straight, they hit their targets fairly well. In like one episode or Law and Order or MacGyver or something along those lines, one of those shows, there was a kid. I believe it was possibly was it MacGyver or was it an episode of Law and Order? I can't remember, but it was in this show. There was this girl whose father was a cop, I think, or someone who was against the crime or speaking out against the crime. So his daughter was put up for target by the local gang, and when some kid who said, "Well, I want to join this gang, I want to be somebody," so they tasked him with, if you shoot this girl, you can join our gang. So he goes there, he's in the hallway with all the passing kids, she's standing there, and he's from like 6 feet away, and he pulls a gun on her. It's a revolver. And then we hear bang, and then she falls down, and then it's like, he goes back to the gang, and he says, "Good work, man!" And he says, like, this bewildered look on his face, goes, "But I didn't shoot her." Yeah. He gets it down. "Yeah, you're one of us now." And the kid's still sitting there, like, but he's bewildered. He doesn't know what the hell to make of all this. And then we cut back, and it's the kid that liked her. He pulls a gun in the hallway, so we see from his point of view that he pulled a gun trying to, quote-unquote, save her, and ends up accidentally shooting her, because he is standing directly in front of the girl, and then behind her to the left a little bit is the other gunman. So it's like, I'm trying to aim at this guy, but I just got just a little bit more to this side and ended up shooting you by mistake. So I shot the person I was trying to save. Whoopsie me. And it's like that. It's like, okay, as stupid as that is, that's a believable concept because it's set up. It was told to us through a visual narrative. Now, here comes another one. it was an Hispanic boy. I think it must have been an episode of Law and Order. The episode starts out with this because it tries to be a reveal episode, layer by layer bullshit. And that's kind of why you shouldn't do a layer by layer this way, because it ends up being stupid. Because you could have just said that in the first goddamn fucking place, and we wouldn't need to go through this shit. But they gotta build it up under. So it starts off with a hate crime. A Hispanic boy just shot a little girl, a little black girl. So everyone's all up in arms about race, this and that. And he's saying, well, I'm gonna go to. He's there scribbling with his crayon, saying, I'm gonna go to hell. I deserve to go to hell. And it's like, did you mean to shoot her on purpose? No. Then why'd you have the gun? By the last 15-minute mark, he finally says, if I remember this correctly, he finally says, oh, there was a black gang or some gang outside the gates that was just looking at an opportunity to jump him, pester him, or beat him up or something. So some feet away from the gate, he pulls the gun out and is about to shoot him. Now, they're straight ahead, as they showed from his point of view a little bit. And then it's told, not shown, that the little black girl liked him. That was all this whole setup thing. And she was running towards him a bit, and somehow got between him and the gate where the bad guys were at, and he somehow ended up shooting her, and it's like, that doesn't compute. I don't buy that. Because she somehow ran into your line of sight, your line of fire. That doesn't make any sense. The episode falls apart on that narrative because it is told to us. It's like, well, how the fuck do you do that? Okay, so she didn't know that he had a gun and was blatantly aiming it. He didn't know that as he was aiming, that she was running towards him in some direction. We don't know, because we said that she just ran to him into his line of sight. Somehow. And the bad guys didn't say anything later on when they saw this thing. They didn't really describe it, how the hell that happened. She just said that she just somehow ran into it. It's like, I don't know. But again, it comes to the point of children are gullible in the fact when they see someone else do something incredibly easy looking, they think, well, I could do that too. That's why they jump off the back of the couches and stuff, trying to fly like Superman or Peter Pan, or do a wrestling move in their backyard, is because they think, well, they could do it, so can I. And they're stupid enough. Yes, I use the word stupid enough to believe they can, because people on TV make it look so easy. Yeah, it's called rehearsals, kids. Apparently, my fear of heights is the only thing that kept me from breaking my neck. Now, the point is, with those stories, it also goes into the thing about not being violent. Now let's get into MacGyver. MacGyver had this backstory about it just gets annoying because kids and guns, and it's kind of contrived because they always said, oh, I brought my dad's 6-shooter and let's shoot it's like a Colt revolver or something. And he says, let's shoot this deer. They're kids out in the middle of a field shooting this thing. And they said, let's shoot this deer. And he's like, no. MacGyver's like, spare the deer. And the gun flies back. The kid falls back or flies back, and the gun fires. It shoots one of the kids in the abdomen. The 2 boys run off, and then the other 2 boys that are there, one of them is MacGyver, the one that was not shot. Jimmy rigs this 3-wheeler tow trailer behind his bike in order to get the kid to town, in order for him to die in the back of an ambulance. And then MacGyver's not, anti-guns the rest of his life. To the extent, I'm going to give 2 really big, not maybe fallacies, pitfalls of that concept of such extreme anti-gun. One, they were pinned down, and this is adult MacGyver, pinned down under a barrage of fire, and they're getting shot from both sides. One of the guys with MacGyver is some random street kid plug in there. He grabs the Uzi or whatever, and he's about ready to fire back when MacGyver's like, again, no, don't shoot him. They're people too? And it's like, they're barraging you with hail of bullets of rapid fire. They're trying to kill you. And you're like, nah, let's not be the killers. But if they kill you, like the doctor said, the moral high ground will be mine. It's like, yes, but he's a doctor. He's smart enough to know how to get out of that situation. MacGyver, on the other hand, It'd be more plausible if they didn't have the Uzi and then he Jimmy rigs this thing with a fire hose and a ladder. That would make more sense. That would make me like him better. With this is stupid. This makes me hate him because he says, well, I have this tool. It puts me on equal footing with the bad guys. But fucking, morality. So there's that. And then, then there was the it was supposed to be like the Middle East. They go out to the middle. It's standard Middle East. That's supposed to be Arabs of some sort, but they don't really look like Arabs. They kind of look like vague. They're not Arabs, but they take place in the same area, mostly to like the northern part. Like maybe they look more like Western East Europeans than they do Middle Easterns, honestly. And these guys, of course, insert Taliban name here, guys, who are dressed rather well for Pakistani terrorist groups or militia or whatever, violent, whatever. MacGyver's there, and he says he comes across this one guy on a ledge, and he's all like, "Nah," and then it's like right at the, it's like who's gonna shoot first, me or you? And it's like, and then MacGyver just lowers his gun or something like that. I think the guy still had his bullets. I think he did. I'm not entirely sure, but MacGyver shows mercy to this guy. I think he might have had a leg up on him. I'm not 100% sure, but he shows him mercy, and then scuttles off. And then later on, the guy comes back and then pulls a gun on MacGyver, and it's like, he showed me mercy, so I'll show him mercy. It's like that doesn't make any sense. A person who's been trained most of his life or part of his adult life doesn't view that as a learning experience. MacGyver's like, well, I showed him mercy. It's like you didn't teach him anything. That's not how that works. You don't get to. Sorry, I put this up on part 2.